Good morning, Remy.
Good morning, Breck.
Welcome to us, back to Coffee with the Cowgirls.
I know I've just been randomly uploading the YouTube videos so like a week after the podcast. It seems like we've never left.
Our topic this week is extremely fitting because it is about being, well, I guess, working unorganized, organized. We're just not like, feels like we're walking against the current, but we'll get there sooner rather than
I'm
later.
gonna get there eventually.
Oh, man. Um, it's just been a challenge, but uh, the weather's now changed too. I don't know if it has for you. It has for me.
I have a sweatshirt on this morning. It was cool yesterday, and it'll still be like mid 80s for the next 2 weeks. So we had like a week and a half of really nice fall weather, and then it it's fall in California. It just pretends. We're not guaranteed to be cold until like December.
We are to the point where you have to preheat your truck to start it, Remy.
I mean, I'm never to that point, so
Yeah, love it. It is cold. I don't. It's probably in the 30s right now outside. Definitely have to blanket horses, and it's dark. I hate that. It's last night. Bronson was like, "Mom, it feels so late. It's only 7:30." I'm like, I know.
I know when it starts getting dark early, you're like, oh, it's so late. And then you look at it because I was like, it's time for you guys to go to bed. Brain's like, it is 8:30. I was like, oh well,
Get to bed anyway.
go to bed. I did.
I
I
know.
finished making singlets for the boys cross country team last night, so that was my
They
task.
wear like wrestling singlets to.
Yeah, they're track singlets. They're called the same thing. They're like the.
Hmm.
But last year when we ran, no, we were like all in mismatched
Look at
shirts.
you, Becky Homecki, freaking
Yeah,
sewing.
so that's done. Now we just gotta win.
Ain't sewing a damn thing. Bronson's last football game is this Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't. By the way, I didn't sell anything. I bought singlets on sale and then cricketed the logo on the front.
Okay, well, you should have just said that you sewed them, Remy. I mean, I
Yeah,
felt like
no, I'm not that handy. So
uh, it is a big day at our house today. 12 years ago, I birthed Bronzy, Remy, and life has never been the same since.
that's what happens when winter comes into your life.
Oh, just love that child. He's super sad though, and I feel stinking terrible, but it's just how our life is right now. Brandon's gone, and he he was sad when he found out yesterday that Brandon was gone. He said, "Is he going to be back for my birthday?" And I said, "No." And he got, you could just tell he's an emotional little bugger. Um, you shouldn't smile and kind of laugh. I just feel super bad for him because this morning he's like, I wake up and I'm like, it's a big day, buddy. You're 12, and uh, he's like, it's really just not that big of a day, Mom. Like, it kind of is, Bronson, and I just think he's sad because we're so used to all being together, Remy, that now we're not for his special day.
I know we've had horse shows on top of Braden's birthday for the last couple of years, and he's like, "This year, can I have a birthday and not a horse show for my birthday?" Which makes me feel horrible. So
Yeah, but you know what? When they're older, I feel like they'll be, you know, what are they going to remember more? The chaos of a horse show or that organized birthday that you spent all that time? I feel like they're going to remember the chaos of a horse show.
yeah, I feel like it's them wanting to feel especially important on a day, and unfortunately, that day tends to fall on horse shows.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not good at that stuff. I If I could make myself better at anything, it would probably be that. I'm not the mom who plans the extravagant birthday or has the most amazing Christmas presents. I'm good at creating a lot of other experiences for them, but I'm not good at those ones. I hate that.
Yeah, I always have big plans. They never work out, so because life gets in the way.
I don't even get to the plans or me. I'm not a good mom with that. Not that good mom. Can I tell you also today is a huge day because not only is it Bronson's birthday, but we have Bodie's written driver's permit test. I hope he gets it, Remy. I hope he gets it.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be like me, Breck, where you don't tell people that you're going anywhere until you've already gone there and then you're successful. Because if not, you're like, I wasn't there. I don't know what
Well,
happened.
I'm not taking it. He is, and it's on him if we don't do well. I have a feeling I wouldn't be able to pass it right now. He's asked me some of the questions, and he told me the one day he was asking me the questions, I was getting them all wrong. And he said, I'm going to tell my driving instructor on you. He's like, you should not even be allowed to drive. You don't even know the rules.
Yeah, but you know,
Shut your mouth.
they always ask you weird questions on there too, where you're like, I've never come across this in my entire life. I don't know.
Remy, I encountered one of the most heavenly things that I've ever had this weekend. Have you ever had coconut creamer?
I think coconut is disgusting in all of its forms.
What is wrong with you?
So
It
gross.
is so good.
So, Christine, who we've had on here, makes like very good chocolate chip cookies, but she puts coconut in them. So I can't eat them because I think it's gross. I don't like coconut. I just don't. I don't like.
I'm sad for you that you'll never get that tasting pleasure of that. I mean, it
But
was
so,
so
like, I had this
good.
conversation with someone yesterday about coffee, right? So I did drink my black, or like with a lot of frothy milk. But even when I get like a latte, I don't want flavor. I don't want sugar. I don't want anything. I want just.
It's like your soul.
I know exactly. And the one kid that works for me is like he's really big. He's like a really tall kid, and he's worked for me for a long time. And I'll like run through Starbucks and I go, "What do you want?" Right? And it'll be like the most basic bitch orders. Like I need a hazelnut latte with extra. And I'm just like, you order it then. You know what? You can tell them what you want because I have one. Was it you I was on the phone with when I ran through Starbucks and the girl's like, yeah, would you like the latte? And I was like, you know, you go to Starbucks too much when she knows exactly what your order is. So,
Yeah, no,
I'm happy for you. I'm happy that coconut is a thing for people. It is,
oh,
however, not
yeah,
mine.
it was so good. I didn't even know it was a thing. I'd never had it before. I went to get coffee and I don't like that. Who drinks coffee mate, Remy? Like that
Remember
icky.
when Coffee Mate used to be a powder? Like when you
That's what
got
I'm
like
talking about. That is what I'm talking
like
about.
when you get on the planes, you're like, you're like, oh, do you want creamer? And you're like, yeah. And then there's like this packet of powder, and you're like, I don't want milk replacer in my coffee.
Well, that's what I went to get coffee. I got coffee and I'm like, do you have creamer? And they're like, yeah, right there. And it's this big old canister of the powdered creamer. And I'm like, oh, I can't have that. You can't have that. And I'm like, no, I definitely am not having that. I'm like, do you guys have any bottled creamer by chance? And she's like, well, I got my special stuff back here. And I'm like, oh, she's like, did you want some? I'm like, well, what is your special stuff? She said it was that coconut cream. I'm like, I've never even heard of it. It was so yummy. So now I'm on the hunt for coconut creamer.
Don't worry, once you come to Arizona, you'll find it everywhere.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Um, what else? You had I we this will be the first weekend that I've been home in over a month for me.
So
I can't so I'm having a hard time.
I had Western States Productions Western States
Yes,
final in
2 weeks
Reno,
ago.
and you had your Cowgirl Challenge, and then I had
Yeah.
a clinic last weekend, and you guys went to Minnesota State Finals.
Yes. Um well you had Reno I had the Cowgirl Challenge and you had a very successful show.
I had a semi-successful show. I ended up winning, so it seems more successful. No, it was a good show. My clients did very well. I did well-ish. It was actually my least successful Reno, which that show has always been good to me. That's why I keep going back. Um, but the cattle were really, really tough, so I ended up ranch handing. For those of you that don't ranch sort, it is when I stay on horseback in the gate and let everyone else sort because I could stop them for the most part. I mean, I was more successful stopping them
I
than
was gonna
others.
say you had probably a higher chance of stopping them than your partner.
Yeah. So I just ranch handed like every class, and we were joking before I went up there. And I was like, I'm queen of the ranch hand. And I usually have a bunch back in the 14 ranch hand, and I had only one back and ended up fourth. So that was disappointing. And I had none back in the 11 too, which is also usually a good class for me. But so, no, I had one back. I had one back in the 11 too.
At the end of the day, it was a very successful
It
show.
was
As
very
you had
successful.
not,
It was a lot of fun, but my highlight was winning the foot sorting because Cody Ward and Matt Stevens went first and thought they were like real cool with their 52, and then Preston and I ran a 45. So,
gotta love that.
yeah, it's my highlight. I was training for it. I've been running just so I can win the foot sorting.
Well, you said it was cold out there too, which is surprising.
Yeah, it's like no, Reno's cold. It's in the mountains, but usually that shows like in August.
It's
So it
really
being
warm.
yeah, so being in the end of September, October, which is when Snafflebit used to be up there, and I've come home from Snafflebit through the snow and mountains, but it's not like bad cold. It's just especially when it was 90 when we were leaving here to go up to that and be at like 50. I was like, oh, this is like real cold. But, and you had a fantastic cowgirl challenge with lots of ladies.
I did, yeah. It was so good. You know, well, last weekend, as you said, we were at a horse show, which um,
It's
neither here nor
Bronzewell and
there.
Cadillac,
It
right?
is. But I love the Cowgirl Challenge, Remy, because it just is. It's easy. It's a show that's easy where you just have to make people happy. You know what I mean? It's all about the happiness, and the rules are simple. Don't be a bitch and don't be mean, and everybody abides by those rules. So there's no anxiety, there's no fighting, there's no drama. Not that there was last weekend, because there certainly wasn't. But that's a good feeling, Remy. I like that. And it's like what is that? Endorphins or whatever,
Yeah, your
like the
dopamine
high.
hit. Yeah.
Yes. You feel like when I come home from Top Hand Monday, I'm just literally a puddle because it takes a lot out of me, because it feels like on the Green Mile when he breathes into the black guy breathes into the can't think of their names, the little cop. He breathes the life back into him. That's what I feel like I do. I feel like I give everything I can to these women, and it's such an awesome feeling, and I love it. But it wears me out mentally, and I need a day to recoup all of that back. But it's so good. There's so many good stories, Remy. Like people crying happy tears all weekend for the success that they had. And it wasn't success in the pen. Maybe it was success of just being there. Um, yeah. I had one girl who was in her, I would say she was probably in her late 20s, early 30s. She was a professional colt starter, so she did a lot of reining horse training 2 year olds. She'd never been in the show pen in her life, never done anything like that. And this or that weekend, she decided to take, I think it was a 4 year old mare who'd never seen cows out to Top Hand and give it a shot. And she just flourished. She did 2 days worth of clinics with us. We couldn't get the cows to, or the horse to the cows, barely in the pen with the cows the first day. Second day, she was not only in the pen with the cows, but she was actually able to get behind them and bring them out. Um, she had a heck of a weekend. She ended up placing in a couple classes. She's all in now. What a great way for somebody like her to get her feet wet, though. I had a lady from Des Moines, Iowa, which that's a trek from Des Moines to Nevis. It's got to be all of 10 hours. And she was the mom of an NFL player who originally had pleasure horses, and life changed when he got into football competitively, and then he went up through the ranks. She gave up her life to go be by his side and watch him play. So she had to sacrifice the horses. And now she's getting back into it, and she hasn't been to a horse show in years. And she just had the time of her life and realized that she can do it and she is capable again. That was a really cool story. Another really cool one was this lady from Western North Dakota, which she drove 8 hours to get there. And Sonia was, she's not quite to retirement age yet. Her husband died 2 years ago. Before he died, before he got sick, he bought her a horse that she did not want. And then after he got sick and passed away, or before he passed away after finding out he was sick, he bought her a trailer. She did not want that either. And she said those, as we introduced ourselves, that those were the best two gifts that he had ever given her. And she hadn't been somewhere by herself since she was 18 with her horse. She said that her friends had her nervous and scared that she couldn't do the drive from Western North Dakota to Nevis. There'd be too many challenges along the way. She could get hurt. She'd hurt her horse. They recommended and advised that she not do it. But she,
Side note, those are shitty friends, just so you know.
I know. And I'm like, listen, before you even step foot in any pen this weekend and you compete for anything, realize you just won. You just won. You did something that people told you that you could not do. You did something that you didn't think that you could do yourself. It was awesome. She was bawling multiple times throughout the weekend, happy tears. And also, and I hate to divulge this, but I also feel like it's a very important part of the story because it is. Afterward, her and I talked, and she had been married for a long time. And over the years, the husband had suppressed her a little bit to the point where she didn't think that she could do a lot of things that she was doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the weekend was about gaining a little piece of herself back. And she did awesome. She placed in a few classes as well. She was having trouble getting her right lead. We got that figured out. Um, and she just said, well, he would be very proud of me and he would have loved this weekend for me. I feel like I just showed him. I just showed him who I really am. And yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, she needs to surround herself with some better people. I'm always
And
a person.
she does. She does have a really good group of a girl gang that was actually there with her. They were not the same people that were telling her not to do those things. They were like, "You're coming." Um, it was just one or two friends who were trying to whip
Yeah.
her up.
You also gotta think you're gonna win before you go places. Uh, we had like in Reno, my clients had a lot of success, and I used to go through and list it out, and then I got a lot of grief for that, so I stopped doing it. But then after this
Lister
weekend,
placings out.
yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
And why were you getting grief for that?
because people in our industry didn't tend to do it. They do it now. But the other reason I did it is it was a good feeling to look over the pen and see how many clients you had and how many people that you helped there that weekend. And I'm like, I can't individualize all of these people. Not in a bad way. There was just so many people.
Yeah.
And I had a client that was her first time going to a show like that, and she made the finals, and she was like, I didn't think I could ever get here. And I was like, but I told you before we came here, we needed to think we could, that we could win. And she did really well on a horse that she was lacking some confidence on. It made me really happy. And then I had another young girl that I helped. She's from Northern California, and I help her sometimes. And she and Tessa, which I help Tessa all the time, won the youth.
I
And you can
love
hear
Tessa and
screaming from the
Tammy.
outs. You can hear me like screaming from the outside of the pen. Like Tessa was like a little tongue in cheek in the interview. She's like, Remy said we only needed to sort 5 head to not die. I think she said to not die, which is not what I said. I said you needed 5 head to be guaranteed second because there's another team coming after them. And the cattle were really tough also for the youth finals. And I was like, but after we get to 5 head, then we'll figure it out. And you can hear me in the pen like They get to like the fifth head and then or the fifth cow, and then you can like really hear me yelling in the video. And then at the end, they almost rode past a spare cow, and I went like hoarse from screaming at them to make sure of it. So they were winners. I had a lot of winners that weekend, but it's fun. And then like we up there too, we have a lot of guys where we do clinics away from home, so it's fun to see how they've grown.
For
And again,
sure, for sure.
and again, like I think it's the same thing. I have a lot of clients that are a little bit older, and this is like their new thing in life. And it's fun to watch them grow and realize how good they can be at something else rather than.
Isn't that funny how it all evolves? I mean, yeah, it's so cool.
But we used to. It's funny too. Like as I get older, you figure out that people want different things out of what you're giving them. Than like we used to try and make everyone an open rider, and now I'm like, if that person makes the Masters finals, they're very happy. Or if they
Mhm.
just sort cleanly in the first go, they're happy.
Yeah,
So.
everybody has something different that lights them
Mhm.
up. Absolutely. I well, I wrote a little bit this weekend. I wrote enough. I wrote $1,000 for it. That's enough. Uh, I just um trying to ride horses that aren't fitting me. So, but that's my MO, and I'm so stubborn like that. And it's fine. It's all good in the hood. But I was able to help coach and my kids and others. I love that. It lights me up like none other. And I actually did a really good job this week in keeping myself under control, except for one run with Bronson. Um, I asked him nicely twice, like, "Hey, baby, re-rack your cows, regroup them. Hey, babe, you got to re-rack your cows." And he didn't listen to me. And it has been a long weekend at that point. And I scream out, "Bronson, get your effing ass back to the hole right now," with 10 seconds left because he about busted him. And thankfully, everybody laughed. Things as a mother you wish you could take back, but it's who I am. I don't think that I could change it if I wanted to. So it's like kind of
Uh,
a curse.
so for cross country, we run off campus, which means that they need parents to take kids places.
Mm-hmm.
And not my shining moment of a parent. I had a car full of boys, not all of mine.
Ooh,
Like
good.
I can deal with loud, I can deal with wild, I cannot deal with disrespectful. So
I'm
uh,
just thinking in my head what you may or may not have said to
a
them.
lot of backpacks kept getting thrown, and there's like I had a kid in my car that had not been in my car before because I take a certain group of very wild boys, very respectful boys, very wild. And I was like, "Hey, please stop throwing the backpack." Like the backpack comes from my third row seat and hits my dashboard. And I stop and I'm like, "I'm not going to ask again. Do not throw anything in this vehicle. Like we can have fun. I let you choose the music. We can do everything." At a stop sign, and things come hurtling forward. And I did the total mom thing where I like I don't even leave the
Slam on
stop
the
sign, like
brake.
stand up in my seat and turn around, and I was like, "I am not fucking around in here." And I was like, "These are not my children. These aren't even like all my friends' children." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one." So
Yeah,
I
but
may or
I
may
bet that
not be in
I
trouble,
bet
but
they adhered to your wishes after
it
that.
was perfect. They were quiet after that. And the kid that was sitting in the front seat is one of my son's friends. And like he's really wild. He's a nice boy, but he's really wild too. And so we go to so I'll unload, and there's like 40 kids. Not in my vehicle. I have 7 in my vehicle. There's 40 kids. And they warm up, like they're doing stretches. And same thing, there's like another group of boys, like not that one's with me, another group, and they're messing around. I do like this sharp whistle to get them to all pay attention because the coach had no voice. And the boys like don't like this one group's not paying attention to me. And the one kid that was in my front seat is like, "Look, I just saw her yell at an entire car of boys. Do not mess with her." So, not a shining moment as a parent.
Yeah, they're eating supper that night with their family, and they're like, "You're
It's what
never
I
gonna
heard
imagine."
today.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So if you haven't been to arena, but they set up 4 pens along the arena, and everyone sits on one side, right? And I don't sit on that side because it's harder to coach because then it's like the seats and there's people there, and then there's everyone standing in front of the pens and then the pens. So I go on the other side, which means that I run like 4 miles a day, running from pen to pen to pen to pen, and back again to yell at everyone. But
It's a marathon. I bet your phone tells you you did a great job at the end of the day. You met your
people are like,
goal,
how many
Remy.
steps do you have? And I was like, I don't know. I don't track it.
I do have a super funny story. The other night I was at Bronson's football game, which by the way, I feel like I deserve a gold star. It was 44 degrees while I was sitting there.
You have like the stadium seats that are heated. Are you that mom yet? I'm not that mom.
Do I look like that mother? No, Remy, I am
You
not
know what
that
though? I
mother.
will tell you, I think they would come in handy like at late night sortings and pennings. Every time I see someone have them at a like a baseball game, I'm like, I need that. Not for right now, but I need that.
Everybody around me are there those moms. I am the mom that comes with a blanket, stocking hat, gloves, that mom. I don't have and a coffee. I don't have anything fancy. But anyhow, I'm sitting there and I'm sitting in the stands next to a gal that is a mom of the boy in Bronson's class. They have been friends since Bronson was little. And we're chatting and she's got a little girl who's like in first or second grade. She must be in first grade. Remy, I could not stop laughing. She comes up and she's like, Mom, do you know so and so? And Abby was like, Yes, I do. And she goes, She's got chlamydia. And we all just like, we're like, What? And Abby's like, Macy, what did you just say? And she's like, You know that when they can't breathe very well and they have to go to the hospital. And she's like, I assure you, it's not chlamydia. Tell
Also,
me
where
what
did you
you
hear
think.
chlamydia?
Oh my God, I could not stop laughing. She was trying to say pneumonia. I mean, pneumonia, chlamydia, they're so closely
What's
related.
again? Where did you hear chlamydia? Like, first of all, that's not a real popular STD anymore. So
I know. Well, so Abby's like mortified and she walks away. The little girl walks away and Abby's like, chlamydia? Like, where did she hear this? I feel like she might be watching too many YouTube shorts. Do you think it might have come off of there? I'm like, hard to tell, Abby.
another shining mom moment. I'm just happy my kids have made it this far. Knock on wood.
Oh,
For not peeing outside at school
oh
and
God, Abby. Remy, I
and
would
not
rather have
and
them.
not and not cussing at school because
Oh, we've been there. I've had both of them.
with this
I'm still
mouth,
getting that.
I I don't know. Yeah, that will also not be a shining mom moment, but
Oh, I think that I would rather have. Yeah. If my kids were peeing outside now, that'd be a problem. They're pretty old, but um, I think that I would be more mortified of them saying something like that than just like a smaller cuss word. I guess. I don't know.
yeah, mm,
God dang, it made me laugh.
so that's so awesome.
So anyway, to our topic today, now that we're almost a half hour in here, um,
It was a good catch up.
it was a
You
good
know
catch up
what?
because it's been
Let's
2
be
weeks.
honest. Very few people follow us for concentrated content.
Speaking of that, as I'm making supper last night, Deanna, I told her I'd give her a shout out today. My neighbor in Arizona, she calls me. And I do kind of panic when I see Dee's name come up on the screen because I'm waiting for her to tell me that something bad has happened down there. So I'm like, hey, Dee, what's going on? She's like, I'm just calling to see why there's been no coffee with the cowgirl this week. And I laughed and I'm like, I love that you listen. I had no clue. I love that. Like
I forget that people I know in my real life listen to this because I got called out on it again, not in a bad way. And I was like, oh, I forget that people we know listen to this.
yeah, I know. I know. That
Because
made my heart happy though when Dee called me because she was like, I love it. And then her aunt is, you would know her aunt. It's funny. Dee is my neighbor, and her aunt rides sorting horses. Geneva Brown Vest,
okay.
I think. Geneva Vest Brown. I don't know. Sorry, Geneva. I know it's Geneva. I have that wrong. She's from Washington, Rem. And I think that she rides with Roger Bra.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, I got a message from a friend in Ukaipa, and she said, I think it's her cousin wanted to talk to me, and she was talking about that she was glad that we talk about all the stuff, all the hard stuff we talk about because it makes her feel better dealing with hard stuff because,
Oh girl, we got you.
when you are just so put together like me, the world thinks that you don't have a problem. And I think it's her cousin, her son plays baseball in the same league as mine. And I guess she's like, I want to talk to her, but like, I don't want to approach her. And my other friend, and the other girl's like, no, she's approachable. And I was like, yes. And the girl that wants to approach me is friends with two guys that I've coached with. And I was like, just she can talk to them. They'll tell her that I'm mean, but approachable.
Nothing
And
but approachable.
and the other lady styles hair, and she's like, yeah, I had a client come in, and they're like, yeah, that lady's loud. And she's like, yeah, just intense. So again, I forget that like people I know listen to it, and yeah, I don't know, but we're not. Sometimes we're really on topic, and it's really good. Those tend to be harder, not fun topics, honestly, when we're on
I
topic.
know. I know. Well, it's just been we've had multiple tough seasons, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're pretty open and honest about that. But this is a tough season right now for us too, because we both have kids. We both have kids. We both have a lot of other commitments, and the season is changing, as cliche as it might sound. The season is changing for both of us, and it is so hard. And I'm not a super organized person to begin with, but I do like a little organization to keep me on track. And right now, I just feel like it is not anything that we have personally done. It's just the way that our life is right now that you can't be organized. You literally have to make decisions on the fly, and you have to fly by the seat of your pants a little bit. And
It's a little exhausting.
it's really exhausting. And like I said, it's not the way that we want to live, but it's the way that we have to live right now. It's literally like walking against a current every day.
So I will give you an example of what my last 2.5 weeks have looked like. James, this is the first year James hasn't gone to Western States finals. Dave Wolf used to run it, and then Jesse and Logan took it over. So he's gone every year. Didn't go this year. All set to go to get ready to leave, and had to take the day before we left. We had bulls break through two fences. I went down there and they'd gotten the bulls in, but I had to haul the bulls out. James was at the sale that day. So I had my girlfriend Kelly, shout out to Kelly, who also gave me my Uncle Baby Billy coffee cup that I don't have with me today, but I've used it on here before. She came and met me, and then we had to move bulls and move some cows, so that was great. Then I left for Reno the next day, and James decided to stay home to take care of that and weed abatement. So rode in Reno, did well, came home on Monday. I slept because I was tired, and then more cow stuff that week. And then I had a clinic on Saturday. James didn't go to the clinic because he had another deal where we're like now a jumpy house for sorting. So we people call us and we bring the sorting pen and the cattle and set it up, and then we go away. So that's what he did on Saturday while I gave the clinic. And then this week, so that was no break. And then this week we've had football games, cross country, and getting ready for USTPA regionals. And because we can't operate out of the house, we are hauling panels back and forth to another arena. So yesterday, me and Stacy Howard, also shout out to Stacy, hauled the whole one trailer of panels up, unloaded that trailer of panels after I gave lessons, unloaded that. Then I went to football practice, came home, made singlets to finish, which in fairness, I've had a lot more time to make singlets, but they're now done because the cross country meet is this Friday. And as soon as we get off the phone here, I'm going to haul more cattle down to another sorting. James got home from the sale last night and hauled more cattle to yet another sorting. And then we got to build the arena and all the pens today for USTPA regionals. So, yeah, like it's a lot. And that doesn't even really account for helping kids with homework and even more sports. They're just kind of lumped in there. So I would just like a break where I don't have to think about where's going what. And so this weekend we will have cattle at 3 different locations that need picked up at different times while helping run USTPA Region 1 and 2 finals. So,
For
and
me, it's more
I
like
won't, I won't be at that show on Friday because I have to drive an hour and a half to a cross country meet.
people ask us, what are you doing next weekend? I'm finally just like, you can't ask me anymore outside of what's happening tomorrow because we don't know. We've got to be, well, first of all, this place has to start closing down, and that's fine. Um, Brandon has to be on the road. He's been on the road. Uh, and I can take care of this here. But you throw school in the mix with all of that and a shortened time frame for my kids to be there. It really just all puts a wrench in the plans. And it is so hard to navigate. I don't know. You cannot schedule anything outside of just the normal stuff. I don't want to take on any extra, like people have asked us to do certain things recently. And now I'm to the point where I can't do that because I don't know what our schedule holds. And I don't want to commit to something that we will have to break right away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that's the other thing for us. Spooky season is my favorite season at Disneyland. So we usually go, and my boys all want to go, and they've been asking every day. I was like, oh, great, we'll take time off after regionals and we'll go. Well, no, because I forgot about that. So next week we have to gather, tag, and brand all of our calves because, why fucking not? Just if it could slow down. Now, the problem is when it stops, you and I also have the same problem. When it all stops, then we also go crazy. But I would like to have like less of a hot mess, like still a little bit of chaos, but less of a hot mess because right now I feel like you said, it's like I feel like drowning, right? Like I am struggling to stay above water. And, James has taken a lot of responsibility away from me and I still feel like I am struggling. So there's that.
I just want I don't feel like I'm struggling to stay above water. I just need some like conciseness would be nice. But it's not, I know that it's not going to be like that. So I've had people tell me I don't, one of Bodhi's teachers, I told her that. And I just wanted to throat chop her when she was like, I can't imagine living like you do. How awful that must be. Yeah.
It's also glorious. Like it can be awful. It can also be fantastic.
I'm
We were
kind
getting
of used
questions
to it.
like, yeah, they're like, how people are like, how do you do it? I don't know. I just do it.
And like,
Like, what else are you gonna do? What's the other option? I'm not gonna get a real job. I don't like real jobs enough to get a real job.
let's be honest. Would you be able to handle somebody else telling you what to do,
No, and
Remy?
I like that. Yes and no, right? Like I actually am a very good soldier, right? You tell me what you want me to do. That's great. The problem for me would be monotony, right? This is what I
Yeah.
want you to do every day. Nah, I'm fucking out. Like
Mhm.
I can't. I can't. So yeah, I like it being like a little bit of a hot mess, even halfway a hot mess. Also, there was like drama in Reno before I got there about my stalling situation amongst people, not from the management. And someone goes, well, like she's talking to me. She goes, hey, the Hot Mess Express is on the way because I was behind everyone. I was like, no, the Hot Mess Express fucking beat me there. I was like, and I cannot control it. Again, I don't care what happens, but I have to be in control of the situation. So, life is life sucks sometimes. And then for us, we've got a lot of big unanswered questions, and it's hard to plan the future when you don't have a concrete plan. Because like you can adjust a plan if you have a plan, but when you don't have a plan, it's very hard to have like the framework of where you want to go.
Mhm. living it too.
I know. It's great. Yeah, I wish people would just leave me alone too. I mean, specifically the government. We had, yeah, we've
Yeah,
got.
it's hard. I can't imagine, like, because I know some people, I know that I drive some people nuts that work with me, which I can't imagine not having their help. And I try to, I know I recognize it that I'm that way, and I try to make it better so that I don't piss them totally off. Some people can't not have a schedule or the organization to a T, which I have lots of lists. I am a list maker, Remy. The problem is if I have the list with me, everything is in my head how I want it. And that makes some people not so, it just makes them aggravated because they're not like that. And I have to take that all into, you don't have it with you though. You do it
Oh,
too, but
Christine gave me this, and it's great. And it's full of fucking lists that never get done because it then sits on my
I was gonna say, I know you're a list person too, but you don't take it with you. It's part of our
no, then it
personality
sits
trait.
on my desk, and I just, you know.
Yeah, I do know. But that's how we thrive, our personalities. And it is hard for people of opposite personality types to understand that about
Yeah,
us.
but I'm better at adjusting on the. I found a lot of lottery tickets. Maybe I won yesterday. Did anyone win? Do we know? Did anyone win like the $1.7 billion?
Sure, it was somebody in freaking California. They always win.
Yes. What is our lottery?
I know. Every time I say that, you respond with that answer. Fuck that. Why did
Because
anybody play then?
maybe it was me.
Yeah.
Maybe I was the winner. Probably not, but maybe. I won $9 last week on my tickets. No, I like to have lists. I like to have a framework. I like to know what we're doing. And then I like to figure out a better way to do it because for me, if you would tell me all of the plans, then sometimes there could be a more efficient way to do it. For as chaotic as I am, I do not like inefficiency. So if you're taking too long to do something or if there's a better way, it bothers me. It makes me feel icky. So, but I
And
do, I do, and like I understand what kills me about people that are super task and plan oriented is when things go wrong, and in livestock and in life in general, things are going to go wrong. They have a really hard time adapting. Where with me, and
yeah,
I was like, hey, we're going to get here, right? Like, this is where we're trying to get. Yes. Okay. Well, I found a new way because the other path was blocked.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, there's disadvantages and advantages to being organized and unorganized, I guess. And that is one of them. Like a roadblock probably doesn't bother someone like you and I, our personality traits, it doesn't bother us because we're used to navigating
I'm
things
used to something going wrong.
on the fly. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I think that like it's the managing expectations too, right? When people are like, this is how this is gonna happen, you're like, cool. I hope it does for you. For me, it tends not to. Maybe if I plan better, it might. I don't know. I just want to not. I want to not have to struggle for a minute, and then. But I think too. I'm gonna be honest. I think even when I'm not having to struggle, I find things that make me struggle. So maybe I just like
Is
struggling.
that your comfort, maybe, Remy?
Maybe I like it being chaotic. I've said on here, I don't want to sit with the voices in my head for very long. So if we live in a constant state of chaos, then they don't get to talk to me.
Yeah, I know that. Well, okay, so right now I'm like a little frustrated with life in the sense of everybody has something they're struggling with, right? Everybody does. And some things that you struggle with are big, some are small. In essence of that, or in lieu of that, why make the happy times a shit show?
Yes.
I can't get past that right now. And it kind of pisses me off because I'm like, each of us is struggling with a hurdle. When there's a joyous occasion to celebrate or a happy time, let's flip and choose to be happy, because there's enough times in our life where it's crazy and we're trying to navigate the storm. We're literally walking against the currents with life. I I struggle with that. I'm If you can't be happy in the happy times, I don't know.
No, it's like, so Braden is my anxiety and kind of fractious one. It's the same thing. He starts to look for negatives in every situation. And I'm like, it's very easy to find a negative. It's very easy to fuck things up. So could you, for 2 minutes, just let it go? Like he's having a really bad day the other day. Go, what's the best part of school today? Or what were your 3 highs for today? Coming home. I said, okay, fine, that's one. One is that you got out of school. What's another one? Nothing. It was a horrible day. I said, that must have been a really bad day if you can't find 3 good things about it. Not a snack you liked, not a joke someone made. So, you know, it's,
That's tough when he's that little and dealing with that. I
yeah.
mean,
So I have to
I'm 41.
retrain his,
It's
I have to
awful.
retrain his brain to find, and it's the
You
same thing.
do.
Once he calms down, you can do it. So that's my exercise with him now every day. Is like, what are your 3 highs for the day? Because he naturally has that inclination to. I mean, it's not that that kid can't be ridiculously happy and funny and silly, but like when that gets a hold of him, it's tough to shake it loose.
Well, and
But
honestly, Remy, if you
you see people like that though, right? They'll be at a wedding and they complain about something, or they're at a restaurant and they complain, and you're like, could you just fucking enjoy this, because like the world's not on fire right now for just these, just this hour. Could the world be okay for you?
Mhm.
Because I need a break before you.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not even that. It's like sometimes you can see them, the those people from a mile away, and you're like, shit, we're at a happy time, and you can see it from a mile away. Like, this is not going to end well. And it's like, why? What had happened leading up to that point that you decided that just gonna come in here and take all the joy away? Or when I leave, or when you leave, that they're gonna know that that person was extremely pissed off and there's nothing that you can do about it.
Yeah, that was like the drama that happened before the show. I pulled up and they're both no one was, I'm not saying who was right or wrong, but I was like, you guys say that you admire that I don't give a fuck, so let me show you the degree that I don't care. I do not care who is right. I do not care who is wrong. You are adults that are yelling at each other, and now I look like the asshole because you're with
Over a
me.
stall.
Yeah. So, and it again, it does not matter who is right or wrong. And I was like, fucking enough. Like, it's enough. I get it. We're all tired. I'm tired. But like, I don't fucking care. And it doesn't mean that I love any of you any less, but like, this is not the hill to die on before 3 days of competing. It's just not. Like, I'll adjust, and then I moved my horse, which was fine. And the person's like, "Oh, you don't need to move your horse. Like, we'll move all of ours." And I was like, "You don't understand. Like, again, I don't give a shit. My horse is gonna be spread across 4 different barns. I'm still gonna saddle up at my trailer. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. This is not the thing that bothers me." And like, I don't think people really understand when I say, like, I just don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care for other people's drama unless it's like really interesting, and even then I'm only gonna care for
I
a
hate
minute.
confrontation, Remy. In my world, I just want everybody to be fucking happy because I know how tough life can
Yeah, and I like
get and be.
I
Like,
had
so
a
when it's a happy occasion, fucking find something to be happy about. Let's all be happy and celebrate. Like,
I had a conversation with someone else, like another good friend, and I go, she same thing. Was just she was upset about other things and was moving it into my barn, and I was like, I love you, I was like, but your pettiness is going to be your downfall. So take it fucking somewhere else. I was like, because you don't get to. I have a very carefully constructed, like, neutral zone where, again, it's not always happy, but I try to keep it from being sad. So could you not fuck with this? And instead of finding things to be pissed off about, find good things. Like, it is easy. It is easy to find things to be mad about. It is much harder to find things, not much harder,
Oh, we've
sometimes.
addressed that so many times. It
But like,
is
it's crazy when you see
just
it
a
in real
mindset.
life, and you're right, like you see it on people's faces, in the set of their shoulders. You see them walking up, and you're like,
Like
"Fuck this."
I can see it from miles away. Like, fuck. What? And then because I'm a fixer, Remy, so I want to sometimes I just want to be like, what's going on here? But then that puts me in a bad place too. So I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah,
You can't make somebody happy who doesn't want to be happy, though.
you really cannot. And yeah, again, I'm not really. I think I am a fixer, but not in the same way. I give you
I don't
paths
like
to well,
conflict.
I give
So
you paths to success, and if you don't want to follow them, good on you. Like, doesn't affect me either way.
I want everybody to find happiness, and it's just sometimes you can't help.
Well, I think some people come into situations wanting to be angry.
That's what I'm saying, Remy. That is
You're
what
like,
I'm saying.
and you're just like,
Like,
what? Like,
why?
what the fuck are you here for? Like, what are you here for? What are you here to pick on things
Like,
for?
I feel like some people are there to piss on others' parades, and
Mhm.
I don't understand why. Like, if yes,
I
I
saw
feel
this.
like
I saw this one thing that was like, well, you're saying you're over it. You can say you're over it and still remember that some people used your pain for their good, like to feel better.
mhm.
I also don't understand that. But again, right? It's the whole I don't think I'm very important. I was like, I don't affect people. But I do. There's some people that just look to be miserable. I'm not one of those people. I don't even look to be happy. I just want to be like,
Yeah,
I also laugh a lot. Like, I know I have
I love
resting.
laughing. I love
I know I
laughing.
have resting bitch face, but I laugh a lot. So in Reno, I was spotting cattle for Dina on a run with Joel and Dina, black cow on the right. She runs to a gray cow on the left. And Joel starts laughing in the bed and he's like, Remy, you're supposed to be helping. It's like, I can't help if she does not listen. But I was
That's
laughing.
funny.
I was laughing the whole time. Someone's like, were you laughing and trying to do that? I was like, yes, it was very funny.
That is funny, Dina. Whoops.
She was like, I did not hear you. I was like, all of us were yelling it at you. But
Yeah, I don't know. People
I
are.
you have to, and again, I think that's where like super organized type A people have problems when things go wrong because they have this expectation that life is going to go a certain way. And if I do this, that'll lead to that. And life
I
is a
don't
funny
even
thing.
know if you have to fall into the organized category to have that kind of attitude or mindset.
I think like again, like we've talked about before, right? Like I look at like long distance goals, right? Like this is where I want to be. This is what the arena needs to get set up. Okay, so it's a small goal, right? Arena needs to get set up. Well, we should do it this way. Okay. But if we get up there and then we've got to change it, it's not devastating for me. I'm just like, well, that didn't go as planned. So now we will fix something else on it to make it work.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know at the end of the day, like I want to do good things in my life for others. And I want to focus on those things. And if I don't know how to say that, like it's hard to when you have people in your life that like when you are focused on doing something more and being something more, it's hard to be surrounded by people who cannot find happiness in any situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because the other thing is if you're trying to make people, if you're trying to put good out into the world, right?
Mhm.
And so imagine that your goodness is like it's a garden, right? You're spraying the hose on the garden, and there's one patch that is always dry, and you end up spraying it longer because it's drier, right? Well, you've given up a lot of water and time spraying it onto a patch that will never get wet. And so there's other times where you could have put that goodness or water onto other plants to help them survive. And and what
Yeah.
happens if you're a fixer and you want to put good things out into the world? People like that end up sucking your energy. First of all, it makes them feel better. They're not sure why they're drawn to you, but they are drawn to you. And then some of them, even more maliciously, want to take it from you. They want to take your goodness and turn it into something else.
Maybe. I don't know. But all I know is that my time to be like me, or my time to be just the little bit of time that I get for myself to have fun and let my hair down, I love that. I love being able to do that because it doesn't happen all that often. And I don't like that's the last thing that I want is that little piece of my hair getting let down to be taken away from me. I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, I just, yeah. And like Reno was a good example. Some people was like, people were like, who'd you hang out with? I was like, myself. I was like, because I was up. Well, and not even like on purpose, just like how it's set up, you know? And I'm like, I talked to everyone when I walked by them. I was like, but when I went to go coach, I was kind of by myself the whole time. And it was nice because, again, I got to concentrate on clients and concentrate on myself and not have to worry about, and because the boys weren't there, right? That I didn't have my mind going somewhere else, that I have to take care of that.
Oh,
It's,
somebody was talking to me about that this weekend. They said, um, I don't know how you do it because their kids are now getting older where they're riding, and she in return is trying to ride, and she said I just can't even focus. And because she's like not worried about the kids, but you get you get to a certain point in your life where I really don't care how I do. I don't. I like to watch them. I like to coach them. And I really don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks when it comes to that because that does bring me some sort of a joy that makes me want to lose my hair. And I love to watch them ride.
it is way harder for me to watch my boys do anything than for me to do it.
I love it. I mean, it's part of who I am. It's who I've always been. And she was saying the same thing. She's like, God, she's like, I just want it more for them than I would ever want it for myself. I love watching my kids ride. How do you do it? And I'm like, I understand exactly what you're saying because I feel the same way. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I'm nervous for the boys this Friday because they've been working really hard at it. So we'll
You're
see.
worried about the cross country
Cross-country,
or the,
yeah. Penny and
oh, they'll
sorting.
be fine.
I mean, all they got to do is run.
Yeah. Make a few turns, run straight. They'll be
Yeah.
fine.
No, but you want them to do well. You want them to be successful. You want all the things for them, and then sometimes you want it more for them than they do, and that's frustrating.
I don't know if I'll ever want it more than Bronson does.
Eh, But it's
I do
it's
know what you mean.
it's yeah. Being a mom is tough, but I know someone's like, "What do you like?" Oh, we're gonna go out to dinner. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going back to my hotel room to lay there by myself
In peace.
and just enjoy my cold hotel room."
Yeah, um I love it. I love being a mom. I love all the funny times. God, they say some funny stuff.
I ask if you have chlamydia. They tell other people you have chlamydia.
Yeah, yeah. My mom's got chlamydia. You know the disease where she can't breathe. Oh my
So
God.
that's like amazing.
I know. When she said it, I was like, and her mom goes, Macy, where did you learn that from? What are you talking about? And she's like, you know, where you can't breathe. And she's like, pneumonia? She's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, those are like so close. So close, Abby. Chlamydia, pneumonia. I could see where she got that confused. Where in hell did she learn it from?
That's the one that really gets me. Like, Where'd you hear about chlamydia? Like, is that still a thing?
Oh my God.
They will
All
find
right. Well, we better get to
new
work
ways
here.
to embarrass you.
Oh, right. All right. Well, it was good chatting with you for a full hour today, almost, Remy.
I know. Now I
Um,
gotta go get diesel and haul things.
yeah, I gotta go take Bodie to his driving test. It was so good that everyone tuned in or missed us, I guess. That's what I should say. Everybody missed
You know
us.
what? We
We're
should say that we planned this to make you want us more, but we didn't. I couldn't get up, and then last week was just too busy.
just things happen. So, but we're back on track for this week, and hopefully next week will look good too. But and everybody have a great week, and until next week, be bold,
Be brave.
be humble. We'll see you next week, Rem.
Bye.
Bye.